Happy Halloween, everyone, or Samhain, as I like to call it. Some of you guys know, but some of you guys don't know that I'm a reverend at a pagan spiritualist church. Don't get confused; it's paganism and spiritualism. A lot of people don't realize there's a difference. So yesterday at our church, we had our ancestor circle, as we do every single year, and it's really a big part this time of year that we honor and worship our ancestors because they still impact us today. So I figured before we get started, I'm going to start off with a poem and then talk a little bit about why we have pumpkins today, or things that look scary like crows and skull heads and all those kind of things. So let me start off. I'm going to read you a poem that I read yesterday at church also. So whoever's here that's a parishioner probably might recognize this, that I read this yesterday. It is a Samhain poem um, by Anne Finch called The Celtic Halloween. In the season leaves should love, since it gives them leave to move. Through the wind towards the ground, they were watching while they hung. Legend says there is seam stitching darkness like a name. Now when Diane grasses veil, earth from the sky in one last pale, as autumn dies to bring winter back, and then the spring. We who die ourselves can peel back another kind of veil that hangs among us like thick smoke. Tonight at last, I feel it shake. I feel the nights stretching away, thousands long behind the days, till they reach the darkness where all of me is ancestor. So let me talk a little bit what Samhain is to some of us, and our beliefs in Samhain, and how and reason why we feel like it's important. And some of y'all call it Halloween. I was going to go into a big history lesson on why it's called Halloween, what it used to be called, how it, came to be today, and all that other stuff. But I'm just going to give you down the bare minimum basics, okay? So tradition is that every Halloween, at least in America, anyways, and I don't know about other countries. In America, we, pumpkin pie. Um, that comes out this time of year, pumpkin pot coffee, basically pumpkin spice everything, and then you'll see jack-o'-lanterns literally everywhere, from a photo to on your front porch. You see jack-o'-lanterns everywhere. So let's start off with that first. In other cultures, um, they back in the day, our ancestors were really superstitious, okay? And they thought that this time of year the veil was the thinnest. All right, so not only would our loved ones be able to be seen and talk to this time of year, but also darkness. So they had a lot of fear about evil entities and evil spirits. So they not only fear that they would see bad, but they would want to communicate with their loved ones. So what they would do is, to keep the evil away, is some cultures or in some of their traditions would either wear costumes, and they would dress up as evil things, hoping that they would blend in with the evil spirits outside, so they would go unnoticed and not be human. All right, in their human form, they wouldn't be noticed. Or they would cut gourds and into scary faces and put them outside their front door, so to appease the evil spirits, so they'll walk on by and not stop at their house. And also, the reason why we have pumpkins here is because pumpkins are native to our country, so you don't really see a lot of gourds. Good thing, because gourds are very hard to cut. So you would see pumpkins here in the United States, but in other countries there might be gourds and stuff. Cutting out a gourd this time of year is very hard, but very cool when you light it up. So yeah, I suggest you should try it at least one time. So anyways, that's why one of the reasons why you'll see pumpkins this time of year. It's a tradition passed down. Also, and that's why you see people dressing up for Halloween. It's for that tradition. But honestly, back in the day, they were so terrified of the holiday that some of them would actually hide in their homes until it was over. Also, one of the things, all right, I wanted to show you, I put a couple of things right here, and I wanted to show you these. Now, look at this. One is the raven, all right, and another one is the skull. All right. So why would you see these this time of year? And they look spooky and they look scary and intimidating, right? Well, of course, um, commercializing everything, so they have to make it look and seem a little creepier. But really, the reason why the crow or the raven you would see a lot this time of year is really because a lot of cultures would view the raven or the crow as a connection to the spirit world. You never hear people saying, if you see a crow, or I don't remember the story exactly, that somebody's going to die, or one hits your window, a bird hits your window, somebody's going to die. Well, think of it this way. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you see one that somebody's going to die, it could mean a great change, but it's not, you know, a definition of impending doom. They're messengers from God. Okay, all birds are called messengers from God. So if they have a message to share with us or to warn us about, that's the reason why they seem like they're scary and intimidating. And this time of year, they will make them dark and mysterious and scary. And then we have the skull that you see a lot this time of year. Okay, so remember what I just said, that a lot of people worship this time of year for our ancestors and to honor them. Well, one of the things that they would do to honor them, some cultures would actually believe that the soul was inside the skull. So the skull represents ancestor, not to do creepy things with or do anything bad or anything with that. It only represents ancestor, which I didn't grab it, but I usually keep a skeleton key around. And the skeleton key is a representation of unlocking the door from the spirit world, from this world to the spirit world. So it's just symbolisms, okay? It's just a symbolism. All right, so it's nothing to be freaky about. Or they commercialize everything. They make horror movies and they turn it into something that is really wasn't meant to be. All right, so remember, the skull represents our loved ones and our ancestors. And like I said, in some cultures, they believe the soul was in the skull. All right, and a lot of us believe that even when our ancestors or loved ones pass away and they go from this world and cross the veil into the next, that we can still communicate with them daily. And I am definitely one of those people. Obviously, anybody that's watched my channel knows sometimes I connect with spirit. Okay, so to me, and then some will say, especially this time of year, it's devil work, you're going to burn in hell, blah, blah, blah. I think it's a gift from God. God's not an evil person. They are a beautiful, beautiful spirit, and they give us beautiful gifts. And it's up to us if we want to open ourselves to be able to receive those gifts. All right, so I just want to explain a couple. Oh, yes, one more thing I forgot about, the candle. All right. So in a lot of cultures, we don't do it nowadays because we don't want to burn down our house. But starting around this time of year and through Christmas or Yule, whatever your tradition or belief is, you will see candles lit in the windows. And this time of year, it was so then that way we had the gourds outside to scare away the evil, but would have a candle in the window so our loved ones can find their way home. So that is why some people don't even realize why they do it now. They're just like, oh, it looks pretty this time of year. We're going to put candles in the window. It was a symbolism is so your ancestors can come home. All right. So a lot of times, this time of year too, we will not only set up an ancestral altar for our loved ones, which I leave mine out all year round, but we would honor that some of them during dinner. We would have something called a dumb supper, and we will set out a plate and food for our ancestors with an empty chair to let them know that they're always welcome. Okay. And you eat in silence. Okay. So that is really one of the reasons why I have, for Halloween, to be silly, I put a skeleton there, but honestly, that is the reason why I have a chair there, just so spirit knows they're invited and they can take a seat and be with us. Okay. So I just wanted to give you a couple little scenarios on why you might see some of the symbolism that you do nowadays around this time of year. And it's really tradition that is passed down. We've evolved as a society, so we're not as superstitious as we used to be. But I do want to say something. I debate if I should say this or not, but this is my belief only. So my feeling is, I just said our ancestors were very superstitious, right? And so they would think that they would have to dress up if they had to go outside as something evil, so evil wouldn't recognize them. Or they had to put out a jack-o'-lantern or a gourd carved in an evil way, so then that way the yuki spirits won't come after them, right? So, but my belief is thoughts are things. So they created their own thoughts, their own energies. So they made that almost like their talisman. So then it did work. Okay, so yukiness and that yuki energy, anyways, wasn't going to come towards them. I don't really think this time of night that evil comes lurking around. All right, but our ancestors did. So, anyways, I just wanted to know and let you know why you might see these time of year. And it's not exactly meant to be the way and viewed the way you thought it would. So, if you're coming my home, you might see one or two of these around, okay? And it doesn't mean, well, besides they're cool looking, but so it doesn't mean like evil or bad or I do everything in love and light and healing and all that kinds of nice fluffy stuff. But so if you see this in my home, it's really because I communicate a lot with my ancestors and I want them to know I love them and show them respect. So this is just that symbolism of an ancestor. Besides, me having a little area in my home where I have some of my loved ones who passed away there. All right, so I just want to explain that. So now let's talk about why I asked you guys if you guys wanted to share some names. So not only do I honor and worship my ancestors, but let's talk about why. All our ancestors are the reason why we are the person we are today, right? They are. It's passed through DNA. It's passed through family history. We are the reason what we are today. And not only after do they pass on, they're still with us. They're still with us. Why do you think that sometimes we still feel them or we dream about them? It's not your imagination. If I pick up on somebody in your family doing spirit work, is it my imagination? No, they're communicating with me. I have my spirit guides communicating with your spirit guides. They stay around us at all times and they're always with us to support us on our loneliest days. They're with us. They're here to support us and give us encouraging messages and to have that little whisper in our ear. They're with us at all times to support us through everything that we do in life. So don't think that just because they've crossed over that they're not still here supporting for you and rooting for you. And that is not just the ancestors that you've known that's passed. It's also your loved ones, which I think we're all spiritually connected anyways, and your ancestors of the past. Your ancestors from 2, 3, 4, 500 years ago plus are still coming and checking with us. We're all spiritually connected in the thread of life. So that is some of my beliefs, my traditions, without going so in depth into that. Okay, so I just wanted to explain just a wee little bit before I called your name. So this is one of your ways to know that you're honoring your ancestors. I told you guys that when we did this, I wasn't going to write down your names on who gave me their ancestor. I didn't need last names. Some people did give me their last names, but it's the thought. I put that thought out to the universe and they hear it. So just like say if you have a favorite song that reminds you of your ancestor, that means they're thinking of you. All right. As soon as you think about an ancestor, that means they're standing beside you. They're with you at all times. So if you didn't even give me your name today of an ancestor, that's okay. Just the thought of them while I read the names, your ancestors are invited in also. So it's a great way just to honor them, to know you still love and respect them. Even after this, if you would like to, let me explain more about this candle. If you even as simple as say a prayer and light a candle, say a prayer to your beliefs above and to your loved ones. The reason why that I do a candle is that I visualize the passion from the flame and the smoke from the flame, taking my messages up to the heavens and giving them to my ancestors. Okay. And it's a perfect time of year for divination too. So some people will scry into a candle's flame to be able to get some messages also. All right. Before I read the names, I'm going to say a little prayer. Thank you to our Creator above, our beautiful Lord and Lady, for wrapping their wings around our ancestors and loved ones and bringing them safely over the bridge across this world into the next. We ask our strong and powerful ancestors, which we have in our blood and our spiritual soul, to come forward and to protect us. We ask to receive understanding and love from all our ancestors of our past. We ask that you clear out your mind from any unwanted thoughts as well as any inner voices of doubt. Please give the strength to the silence of our inner fears so that we are our true characters and can shine out. We are one. We are many. We are strong. We are love. We are like the wind that can create good. We are also the storm that can destroy, which is bad. We are all together. We are family and we fear nothing. And we thank you in advance for all that you have done and will do for us. Bright blessings. Phyllis, Lillian, Eugene, Steve, Rodney, Alice, Roger, Lori, Rose Petal's mom, grandfather, and grandmother, Mabel, Carol, Tony, Ernie, Josh, Marie, Lorenzo, or Larry, Morna, Tootsie, Judy, Sarah, Chelsea, Hunter, Patricia, Robert, LaRue, Dayton, Alma, and also some of our fur babies, Sabbath, Celine, Loki, Starla, Michael, Billy, Kimberly, Mama, Grandma Linda, Grandma Esther, Uncle Tony, Pap, Frank, the Mom, Catherine, Leanne, Sister Kimberly, Dad and Lori, Bonnie, Dad, Raymond, Bill, Uncle Mitch, Chris, Cliff, Will, Dustin, Devin, Anthony, Jamie, Cody, Adam, Eric, and Aunt Nancy, Mima, Grandma, Liz, Peepaw, Bill, Kobe, Ethan, Denise, Francis, Irene, and all the ancestors that were unspoken. We know that you're still around us, to hold us close, to love us and show us support. We honor you just as you stand beside us and help us along our life path. Thank you. Please remember that your ancestors are always with you and always beside you. Even on some of your hardest, loneliest, and saddest days, your ancestors love you. They care for you. They speak up for you. They whisper in your ear and still give you messages. Please say a prayer for them tonight and show them the love and respect that they always have given you and always still will. Have a great night. Blessed be.